Good morning and welcome. I am Rosemary Gill, President and CEO of the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center. And thank you for joining us this morning for this monumental occasion. Somebody needs to pinch me. It's just hard to believe. Wasn't that band great? Please, thank you, Dr. Mike Rocha and the South Coast Brass Band. Okay, I am going to do my very best not to cry, but here we go. Actually, before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that this land we occupy today, the Wampanoag people used this riverfront land for thousands of years prior to colonization of the area in the 1600s. Colonization excluded and erased many indigenous peoples. The Zeiterion honors the Wampanoag community, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. We have a lot to be grateful for. Each and every one of you here today has had an impact on this project. Your advocacy, collaboration, and support have made all the difference in making our transformative project a reality. Thank you. Several folks from the state and the city are here today. Thank you all for joining us. On the city level, I'd like to thank Mayor John Mitchell and his team. His team, by the way, special shout out to the extraordinarily amazing Christina Connolly and Neil Mello. We have city councilors with us here this morning. I know President Naomi Carney, which side? Oh, there she is. Thank you. Shane Burgo. Thank you for joining us. Do we have any others from City Council? No? Okay. We are fortunate also to have a strong and dedicated delegation from the state. Representative Chris Hendricks, Representative Tony Cabral, Senator Mark Montigny, Chairman Michael Rodricks. Thank you all. They supported legislation paving the way for the historic tax credit supporting today's renovation efforts, and most recently secured $4 million for the project, working in collaboration with the Healy administration. Early on, we assembled a team to guide us. I want to thank the following for your expertise and guidance: Affirmative Investments, Big Ocean Media, Cone Resnick, Campaign Counsel Helena Hartnett, Klein Hornig, Medium Studio, O'Neill & Associates, our project manager P3, Stages, our theater consultants, Unger LeBlanc Strategic Communications, Web Management, Whale, our historic preservation partner, and Wilson Butler, our architect. And we can now add Colantonio, our newly minted general contractor, to the list. Thank you all. This next part is just, I can't even underscore enough. I'd also like to extend my gratitude to Bristol County Savings Bank. They exemplify what it means to be a community bank. one that truly understands what makes a dynamic and thriving city. Thank you for your tremendous support of this project and for being a reliable and steadfast partner for many, many years. Trying to find where you are. There you are. It feels really great to know that we can count on you. Lastly, I want to express my gratitude to the board and staff of New Bedford Festival Theater and New Bedford Symphony Orchestra, as well as the staff, board, and committee members of the Zeiterion, plus our incredible volunteers, undeniably one of our greatest assets. Today we begin a new chapter for the Zeiterion. This day has been a long time coming. There have been many, many hurdles along the way, but we persevered. To improve this building and to leverage every possible dollar, we are proud to have spearheaded this wildly complex project where we put together a funding stack that includes federal and state tax credits, municipal and state funding, and private philanthropy. Our vision to improve patron experience flourished into the project we've embarked on, to transform a 100-year-old theater into a stunning, state-of-the-art building and a community living room, bustling with activity and welcoming to all. A space that is worthy of the artists and performances the Zeiterion and resident companies, Festival Theater and Symphony, bring to the South Coast. This improvement project allows all three nonprofit organizations to expand our education programs for local school children and students of all ages so that we can all learn from and through the arts. It creates new gathering spaces so that we can come together and connect with each other in ways that we are missing in our increasingly virtual world. We see ourselves as stewards of this historic building and stewards of the dream of those who came before us. I'm looking for John Bullard. There he is. We're upholding their vision and bringing it into the future. We will meet the needs of the community in new ways and create a welcoming space for all of New Bedford and beyond. Today marks a significant point in this journey, and we love that you are all here joining us for the ride. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so I'd like to now bring up Mayor John Mitchell, who has been a strong partner in our vision for a vibrant performing arts center for all of New Bedford. During his tenure, Mayor Mitchell has advocated and delivered necessary backing that makes this project possible. At every turn, we could count on the city for their support. We can't thank him and his administration enough. Mayor Mitchell.
Senator Joe, are those his or yours? All right, good morning, everybody. Boy, well, it's, as events go, it doesn't really get any better than this. Beautiful Friday morning, lots of friends, a lot to celebrate today. So a couple things. I wanted just to begin with some words of thanks, and let's begin with none other than Rosemary Gill. She left. Look at that. I didn't even have to say what you did to listen to applause. I just had to utter your name. That's it. Rosemary is, look, if you're here, you are familiar with her leadership her dedication, her persistence, and her problem-solving ability, and her patience with lots of elected officials, lots of people with egos who bring egos to the table, and she just has pulled it off. This is it has to be said, this is an ambitious project. It is not easy to restore a 100-year-old civic building. And that's what it is. That's how I think we should see it. It is a part of the fabric of Greater New Bedford in every respect. And, it could have been done much more incrementally. It could have been done over a period of many years, phases 1 through 10. But no, we, the collective we, all of us together, led by Rosemary, said, we're going to swing for the fences. And so here we are. And Rosemary, your stewardship was so skillful. And look, we're going to be able to open this thing up in 18 months or so, however long that it is, and be really proud of it. But you can look back at this someday and say, look, this was my magnum opus, and so you're going to make us really proud. So thank you. I have a few other people I want to thank. I do want to, from the city's team. The city's team was led by the city's chief operating officer, Christina Connolly, who doesn't like to get credit from me when I'm up on the stage, but she richly deserves it. For those of you who haven't worked directly with Christina, she knows the city better than anybody, and she knows how to get things done, and she is respected in every corner of this place. So I really want to thank her for leading the charge here. A couple of others I do want to touch on. Eric Jakes, our city solicitor, has done a great job moving ahead with a number of really sort of complicated matters, including the 99-year lease that I just signed. One more document that I signed, not having read, but I'm sure it's fine.
It's great.
I'm sure it's fine. I have lots of faith in Eric. I was once a lawyer, and I'm eager to become one again. But no, thank you. I want to thank the board entirely, all of them. I don't want to name everybody, but Frank and Joe have headed up. The efforts have been in charge in the last few years, and the board did a great job raising a whole lot of private philanthropy. I want to thank our state delegation, Mark and Tony and Chris and Mike. Great work in stepping up and helping get the support of the governor, helping get a number of sources of state funding. They've been doing it for a long time, and they've come through, again, with a really key part of the financing package here. So I just want to thank you guys in particular and ask everybody to give them a round of applause. And so I have, and of course, there is a fair amount of federal money in here, too. And I want to thank the federal delegation. Liz Rhoda from Congressman Keating's office is here. I really appreciate the congressman's and Senators Warren and Markey's support for this project. I should say for the federal funding that was directed to this project. It doesn't happen. We put resources into this facility that we don't otherwise have, but for the federal support. So the city is putting in, for the record, the city's putting in $7.6 million into this project from various sources. So about $2 million of it comes from, and I mentioned these acronyms, right? So for some of you, it might be like, oh, there's another government acronym, but these are important programs. The Community Development Block Program, affectionately known as CDBG, the CPA program, the Community Preservation Act. This is another one of the projects. Jessica Bailey, who heads that up, she's the sorceress of that program and does a fabulous job. This is another one of those projects. The the CIP, which is the city's borrowing. Appreciate the support of the city council, Shane Burgo, Naomi Carney. And so that's about $2 million of it, and then some general funds as well. But the bulk of it is ARPA funds. And so, look, ARPA funds are, strictly speaking, COVID relief funds. And so one might say, well, what does this have to do with COVID at all? Well, not much. Not much. We can make the argument about some attenuated connection, but it is ARPA has presented us an opportunity to invest back in the city and do it in ways that leverages other funding. So from the city standpoint, this is one hell of an investment. It has a tremendous return. We're putting in about a quarter, and I say this to people I say this to an audience of folks who get why we invest, but I also am saying it to the wider TV audience as well. It's important for government to invest in these types of things, especially when it leverages not only other financial support, but also a whole lot of activity, a whole lot of people just sort of stepping up and doing their part. And that's the way that we look at it. So what are the benefits? And I'll just tick 3 off for you, but I think it's worth setting the table. The first is that, you don't need a market study, you don't need an economic impact study to know that this place has a huge beneficial effect for the city, for Greater New Bedford, but especially for the downtown. And you don't need that study, because if you've ever tried to get in a restaurant the night of a Z show, forget it. You're not getting in. There's a long line, and you might as well just wait till the show's over. That's the impact. It's the hotels, it's the restaurants, it's the people that those places employ, and the opportunity that those jobs give them and their families. It is the educational opportunities that the programs here make possible for New Bedford school children, to offer them something that they can't readily get in the classroom, can't readily get from a screen, from a website. That's huge. From TikTok, right? These are things. What's offered here is enrichment in the deepest sense. That's important. But the other thing I'll say is this, and again, this is, people will ask why invest in the arts, but this is, and we have invested mightily in the arts, not just ARPA funds, but otherwise. And there's a fair question as well, why, right? With all the other demands on the city's fisc. The reason when you get down to it is this: it helps build community. It brings people together for an opportunity for a common experience. When you see a show, you connect with other people. You enjoy it at the same time they do. You feel the same way they feel, and it makes you just a little more connected to them. And when you get right down to it, that's what performing arts is about in the highest sense, and that's why it makes sense for us all together to be investing directly into it. And so we've got a lot of that, a lot of connecting through this place to look forward to in the years ahead, in addition to the economic impact. And I can't wait. I can't wait for this place to open up, and I look forward to seeing all of you there. I want to say one other thing. Just I was remiss in not thanking Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, who are here, with Mike Rodricks and I pushing for. We had that powwow and a few months back, and I think that really helped make a difference. I want to thank her as well. But I know that she appreciates, and I know that everybody who had a role in this appreciates just how important this place is. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Up next is City Councilor, President Naomi Carney.
Thank you, Rosemary, and thank you for the board for this great endeavor. The city is going to be very proud when this is done, and we're starting this right now, the groundbreaking. And I also want to thank you for recognizing the Wampanoag tribe, which I'm a member of, and I am an elder, so thank you for recognizing us. I just turned an elder last week. But needless to say, I'm still an elder, and it's very nice to see the recognition that the tribe does get. We have 2 tribes, the Quina and we have the Mashpee tribe, so thank you very much. So I'd like to bring up my counselor Shane Burgo to present a citation. But way back when I was growing up, my mother instilled the arts and culture in all of us. She got the concert series at New Bedford High School, the old New Bedford High School, that was 3 times a year. We always fought over the last one, which was a symphony, or the big one, and the oldest one used to get the pick, but she got him every year, so she instilled that. My brothers and sisters, and my older brother, rest in peace, he was an actor, he was a stage actor, loved the theater, and was always on stage. So it's quite fitting that we're here promoting the arts and cultures. Unfortunately, my brothers and sisters, my kids were all on stage. It missed me. I don't know what happened, but it missed me. So that's why I had to bring in a person up here, because I didn't get those talents, but Shane Burgo did. He is a talented city council, and we always call upon him to sing and do anything when it comes to the arts. So without further ado, everybody said everything up that we needed. So I'm going to have my colleague and I will read the citation.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not actually going to sing or perform.
I think you should make him sing or perform, but we'll wait till the theater opens up and we'll make sure he gets on stage at one point.
Yes. Thank you. I just wanted to say, I'm very excited to be here today with my colleague. We know that the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center contributes obviously to the downtown economic vitality, but beyond that, they reach farther than the downtown area. As I've mentioned before, the Card to Culture program, I remember as a young student in New Bedford Public Schools coming to the Zeiterion for the first time, getting to experience a show here. The Zeiterion contributes so much to our community, far beyond the downtown area. So it's so important to contribute to this city-owned building. I want to say that one more time. This city-owned building. It's important that we as a city council continue to invest in this building, and I'm looking forward to the day we have the ribbon cutting ceremony. Yes. So with that official resolution, be it hereby known to all that the City Council of New Bedford, Massachusetts hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center and recognition of your groundbreaking ceremony. The entire citizenry extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued good fortune given this 28th day of June 2024 by Council President Naomi Carney, myself, Shane Burgo, your Ward 4 City Councilor, Derek Baptiste, and your Ward 6 City Councilor, Ryan Pereira, who could not make it today. Thank you so much.
It's not every day you get a proclamation. Oops. Okay, thank you. And now I'd like to start to bring up some of our state delegation. And this gentleman is known to me somewhat as a super fan of the Z, and I've seen him a few times in the lobby, and I'm really, really happy to bring him here. He is a strong leader. He's proven himself in the short time he's been there, and everyone, please welcome Representative Chris Hendricks.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. This is a very exciting day. I'm going to be brief for a number of reasons. My allergies are acting up, and I don't want to start a sneezing fit in front of all of you. And two, the guys behind me, the legislators behind me, my colleagues in the House, Senator Mark Montigny, Tony Cabral, Mike Rodrigues, they deserve a lot more of the credit than I ever should on this project. As the mayor said, this truly is an example of the whole community coming together. Federal, state, local, ARPA, CPA, private donations. This truly is a community endeavor, and it's so cool to be a part of, as Rosemary said, and I've been coming here since I was a kid, and it's one of the crown jewels of the city. So I'm just really happy to be here and celebrate with you all today. I will give you an update of last night in the House of Representatives. We were able to secure an additional $500,000 for opening costs. Yeah. So when this renovation's done, we'll be able to have a big party, okay? Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the day. Congratulations.
Woohoo. Thank you, Representative Hendricks. We really are very fortunate to be in your district. Next up, Chairman Tony Cabral, another stalwart supporter of the Zeiterion, a relentless fighter for the arts economy in New Bedford and for all our cultural institutions. Please welcome Chairman Tony Cabral.
Well, good morning. This is really a party. Unbelievable. Talk about groundbreaking. This is much more than that. I'm so happy to see everybody under this tent. This is really a cross-section of this community. That's how rich we are in this community, from the folks in the north end to the folks in the south end to the folks downtown or west end. This is really a cross-section of folks. It's wonderful. It really represents what the Z is about, right? The Z is not only about the wonderful New Bedford Festival Theater, the symphony, but all the performances that we see here, from the famous Cape Verdean singer Cesaria Évora, who performed here many times, right? To the famous fado singer Carlos from Portugal, and Marisa from Portugal, the Gypsy Kings, right? The Latino folks there. This is really where everything happens, where all the communities, all the ethnic groups in this city really come, are welcome, and they know that this is what New Bedford is about. I'm glad, I'm happy. A big thank you and congratulations to Rosemary, to the whole Z team. How about that, huh? The whole Z team. Right. And yes, I'm proud of being part of this delegation, be the House or the Senate, together as a delegation. I think we have really, to this capital campaign, just the capital campaign, not to mention the operating support that we have done over the years to the Z from the state level, but this capital campaign, the state has committed, through the efforts of this delegation, $7 million for this capital campaign. It's important that we recognize those we have supported along the way, those 7 million. 3 of those 7 was committed by the previous administration, the Baker administration, in particular, Lieutenant Governor Polito, who was very supportive and visited the Z and supported not only the 3 million, but also Secretary of A&F, Secretary Heffernan. He was wonderful in that process, and he wrote those checks, and that money has already been deposited on the Z account, okay? And of course, the Healy Driscoll administration, they have committed money as well, $4 million out of the 7, and we want to thank not only the governor, but in particular, the lieutenant governor again, because she was here, she listened, and she went back to Boston, and she followed through along with the governor. So thank to both of them, and thank to the Healy administration to make that 7 million work altogether. So I can't wait. If this is a party, imagine when we reopen the doors of the Z, what it's going to be like. Huh? Imagine, huh? Imagine. Can't wait for it. I'm waiting. We're going to work with Rosemary and the whole team, making sure that when we come back to this location, this is going to be really a celebration. If you think this is one. And just a quick thank you to former Mayor Bullitt. He's out there standing up. Okay? The last major renovation that this facility saw was during his administration. Thank you, Mayor. A special thank you to the co-chairs of this capital campaign. Joe and Deb, they've done wonderful work. They've done really the legwork to make sure that we all stood putting the necessary pieces together. So thank you, Joe, and thank you, Deb. And of course, the president of the board and the entire board of the Z, they've done wonderful work. I see Mike out there as well, who's been a previous president of the board. To all of you, this is really a community effort, and it's so nice to see so many of those of folks throughout the city also part of the celebration. Thank you, and let's go for it.
Thank you, Tony. Now I'd like to bring up Senator Mark Montigny. Senator Montigny is a longtime advocate for the Z. He'll tell you, and I think he will, serving as a board member during the 1980s revival and delivering millions in state funding for the theater during his Senate tenure, including $500,000 that quite literally kept the Z's doors open in 2004. I'm going to go off script a little bit here.
Not with that story I'm thinking of. Don't even think about it.
All right, plan B.
Please.
No, I'm so thrilled to have Mark here this morning sharing with us. I won't share that story.
I was
Mark.
hoping you would.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me? No. Mark and we have a funny story when we were both in high school. So. At around 3 o'clock tonight, this afternoon, after a few drinks, you might be able to pry it out of me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Mark Montigny.
I've always felt that the best defense is a good offense and the best offense is a good defense, so I should just tell the story now to avoid your version of the story. If I get my narrative out, you will have no luck at all. Well, actually, that's probably not true. So this is great. So none of you realize, other than the folks behind the podium, that there is a courageous, amazing woman here putting up signs, 2 minutes left. No, true story. I have a picture when the mayor was talking, and it says, like, what does it say? Time done, time out, time's up. And then everybody else violated it also, and I have every intention of violating it. But here's what's amazing. This is what's amazing. If you don't think I know that when the signs didn't work, you started the goddamn bells, I know what's going on. I'm completely off script as usual. Please, Rosemary, please don't tell the story, because I will not only not deliver money, I will block money. And when I was chairman of Ways and Means, I took good care of Roderick, so if I say block it, he'll block it.
Sounds like I might have some blackmail material.
Statute of limitations. I mean, I have so much to say, and so few of you want to hear it, and we have so little time before she does Time's Up. But I'm still going to say it and say it and say it. First, you stole my line on John Bullard. I don't want you to think that this is like the podium in repeat because we keep thinking you'll retire and you never do. It is not. I can remember you as a young man. I was a much younger man. And I thought you were Sarah Delano's Butler. Because I could not believe how hard you worked, because she told you exactly what to do. And God, you know, I mention her in the greatest affection, God rest her soul. Because I'll tell you, projects like this, if you think about it, it literally takes a village that sits here and those that can't be with us today. But it takes vision, and I'll talk quickly about that in like 1 minute worth. It takes lots of money, and the city and the state have delivered, and I can't say enough. Even though you've all been recognized, stand up again. I want to just say the delegation, we get grouped in as a, with a descriptive, the delegation. We have together earmarked far more than $7 million. It's probably closer to 15 or 20 over our tenure. So big round of applause for my friends, even though you already have. It takes vision, it takes lots of money, but it takes passion, and passion is personal. And those of us, those of you who didn't grow up here, I don't care if you've been here 50 years, you're a wash ashore. We are New Bedford. Kidding. That's a vineyard term. I remember spending time on the vineyard, and they'd say, well, he's just a wash ashore. I'm like, what do you mean? How long has he been here? 3 generations. Those of us who grew up here, and I 2 minutes left, it says, time me. No, I will try to be respectful. Those of us who grew up here, and for me, I grew up near Buttonwood Park, lived in my childhood home with my mom and dad long after they expected me to go and venture off on my own. And then I moved a half a mile away and have lived there every day of my life. But as I've said to you all many times, the good fortune I had, mostly with a backpack, was to travel around and around and around the world to almost 100 countries at this point. And I mention it, even though it's probably the most stupid political thing you can actually say, but it has made me appreciate more what we have here. Anyone who has not seen this place, or anybody who's from this place and doesn't recognize the beauty, probably hasn't seen anywhere else, because it really is unique. Everybody says that, I suppose, about their hometown, but I'm not sure everybody is as right as we are. And I look to John Bullard because I was young enough but passionate already. My grandfather was a whaling artist here in New Bedford, and I also want to recognize George and Armin. Are you still here? I'm sure. So stand up. Stand up. If you don't stand up, we'll start the bells again. That's the only time today those bells should have rung. So the reason I'm so thankful and highlight John and George and Ahmed is because I think coming this place on the podium, many people have been thanked. I don't want to repeat that because then I'll really violate the timeline. But when I look to Rosemary and the staff, and I look to the volunteer board members today and those that preceded, and I look to the mayor and the city councilors and the delegation, I also think of the John Bullards of the world who literally saved this theater from the wrecking ball. Like, maybe didn't stand in front of the wrecking ball. He probably would have gotten somebody like me to do that. But think about what this could be, just another parking lot. And I'll close with this and say that many years ago when, in a sense, the generation before us, although I don't think John Bullard would like to be recognized that way, but it was George and Armin and Sarah and Tom and Joe and so many others and John Bullard that said, here's what we've done. We've saved these buildings. This architecture is here. We're on Buzzards Bay. Nobody can take that away from us. But now it's up to you. And we slipped for a while. This theater almost closed its doors. We sat in a room, and I can't believe I've been here this long, and I'm no longer the young man that I was, but we sat in a room and we came up with a vision. But it wasn't a vision just to say, let's build the Star Store, let's seed the arts organizations, let's do tax credits for housing, connect it through Route 18 to the pier. All this work we've done and spent millions and millions of dollars. It was the private sector and the artists and the musicians that leveraged that money to make this place not just somewhere else. And I'm really proud of it, and I'm going to close with this, because it takes passion. It takes passion from those of us who grew up here, who love it, who will never leave, but it also takes passion from those wash ashores that I mentioned. You thought I was going to be disrespectful, but some of us who have been here need to be reminded by those that come from without how lucky we are to be within. So I greatly appreciate you all. I'm sorry if I left anyone off. I absolutely violated the timeline, but let me tell you something. We alone have probably earmarked, as I said, millions and millions. So like I cost you 5 minutes of your life, I hope you'll forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Next, I'd like to welcome Chairman Michael Rodrigues, Chair of the powerful Senate Ways and Means Committee, and longtime another superfan of the Z. They're all superfans of the Z. We are so fortunate to have had him and have him as a champion to our entire region. Please welcome Chairman Michael Rodrigues.
Thank you, Rosemary. And if you want to trade Montigny stories from 40 years ago, I have a few. But it's great to be here. My goal today is to be the shortest speaker. And it's easy for me because I'm not from here. You know, I live next door in Westport. My city is the city of Fall River. And Mayor Coogan always gets angry at me when I say how much I love New Bedford. And I love the Z. I've been here so many times. I was just thinking the other day, you know, you sit on your chair and you go into these rabbit holes on your iPad. And I was watching I'm a boxing aficionado. I watched Hagler Leonard here in 1987. Remember the paper, right? The paper, that's before cable, right? Pay-per-view, we watched that fight. We watched that fight here. But you can count on my continued support of whatever the Zeiterion will need. There's an amazing delegation. Senator Montigny, every single minute of every single day is advocating for the city of New Bedford in general and for downtown in particular, including the Zeiterion. And the House members, Representative Cabral and Hendricks, are just amazing advocates. You do have, and I'm going to get in trouble again for saying this, the best legislative delegation. I'm supposed to say the second best legislative delegation to those of us from Greater Fall River. But together, Fall River and New Bedford and the South Coast, we have Michael Sullivan here, the chair, the president of the executive of the One South Coast Chamber. You know, we're joining forces. We're working together as a region, as we should, and we're getting things done because you're stronger when you stand together and you work together as a team. And we are, very much so. And I appreciate being here, and I look forward to the ribbon cutting also. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman Rodrick. Next is Kate Fox, Executive Director of the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Kate understands the impact of a cultural organization on our local economy and tourism, and she has a passion for showcasing the unique charm and rich histories of cities like New Bedford and places like the Z. Please welcome Kate Fox.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I've been in my position at the Office of Travel and Tourism for just over a year and had the privilege to come down with the Lieutenant Governor for the convening last summer, and I was brand new on my job. And so like the Zeiterion was imprinted on me. I joined the mailing list immediately. I'm a North Shore girl, so I had a smaller bubble before I came to the state. But I've been following the work that's been going on here and the effort going on and learning about this amazing community resource. And it's really a pleasure to be here today on behalf of Secretary Howe and the Office of Economic Development, as well as the Office of Travel and Tourism. We're just thrilled to support this project and everything that the Z contributes to the New Bedford economy. Arts and culture is the there for tourism. It's the reason people come and stay and eat out and shop and do things in our communities. So we're so excited to know that in a year and a half or so, we will have the Zeiterion open again, bringing people from near and far to downtown New Bedford to, yes, I'll clap for that. I live in Beverly, and we have the Cabot Theater in downtown Beverly, which is a slightly different model, but it too went through a renovation and a community project, and we all pitched in and bought seats and made sure that that theater reopened. And like what we will see here with the Z, you can't get a seat in a restaurant downtown on show nights, and people come, we have new hotels, and people come from all over to go to the shows at the Cabot, and I know that that is going to be one of the benefits of the project here at the Zeiterion. I don't want to duplicate things that people have already said, but I do want to share that we just last week launched a new domestic marketing campaign for the state of Massachusetts, and it's all about what's made possible in Massachusetts. And with the work going on here in New Bedford and the investment in the Zeiterion, I know that learning, connection, and creative expression are going to be made possible right here in New Bedford, but for the whole state as well. And I thank everybody for the work to make this gathering place for performance arts a shining star for the state of Massachusetts and our tourism industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. Now I'd like to introduce the co-chairs of the Z's Capital Campaign, Deborah Baker and Joseph Nauman.
Good morning. So Deb and I are here to talk about the fundraising aspects of this project, which have been no small feat, as you can imagine. We're both honored and excited to have participated in this project. We've got a little ways to go yet, but we're still staying with it, and we're going to get it done. Along with the other campaign committee members and the building committee members, it's been a long, long haul. And everybody has stayed with it and has persevered and pushed through every roadblock that we've come to. And Deb and I are so proud of the work that everybody has done. So everybody that's on either the capital campaign or the building committee, could you please stand up? This would not be happening without that team effort, and thank you all so, so much. So a little bit about the funding and the fundraising that's taken place. This project is a $37 million project. Think about that, $37 million. I have been around, and I'm a wash ashore, I guess, Mark. But I've been around here for about 30 years. I don't remember any project of that, public-private project of that magnitude. And it's incredible that we've been able to get in the bank over 32 million of that 37 million. That is close to 90% of what we need. We do have a final push, and we will get that done. So I do want to, there's been a lot of thank yous to all of the people that have contributed. The stack is high. A lot of different sources. All the public sources have been pretty much mentioned. But the private sources, the philanthropy that has come to support this theater is well over $10 million to date. So for all of you out there that have given and those that intend to give and give more, we sincerely appreciate your efforts, because this wouldn't be happening without all of you as well. We anticipate reopening the theater in 2025. And when we do, it will be more than ever a community gathering space for the performing arts. And as Mayor Mitchell mentioned, an economic engine for New Bedford and the South Coast area. We've talked about the impact of the physical changes going to take place a little bit, but there will be an even greater economic impact when we reopen. Before we closed, combined spending by the Z, the resident companies, New Bedford Festival Theater and New Bedford Symphony Orchestra, coupled with visitor spending, supported 338 jobs and $10.2 million in annual economic impact. That's a good number. It's a number really important to the city of New Bedford and this region. But that contribution will be amplified with the new capabilities that we're bringing in this building, and to both the Z itself, the resident companies, and the community. The project, just doing the construction, will create hundreds of construction jobs with over $43 million in economic impact. And once complete, we anticipate for the Z, 14 new hires, and our expanded operations will yield an additional $1.6 million annually in economic impact. So that just gives you a flavor of, in addition to all the other benefits people have talked about, some real numbers behind why this project is so important and why we are so pleased to be a participant in it. So with that, I will turn it over to Deb with her thoughts on maybe some less financial, but maybe some more legacy issues. Right there.
Hard.
Good morning, everybody. I know an awful lot of people here in the audience. Thank you, Joe, and to my fellow campaign and staff members. I want to say from my heart that this has been quite a ride. It's becoming the realization of all of our dreams and the hopes and dreams of those that came before us as stewards of this beautiful theater. 101 years ago, this building was constructed as a vaudeville house. In between times, it became a movie house and for a time sat idle. And there's probably a lot of other things that went on, but I wasn't here back then. The last time it was renovated was 41 years ago, and for nearly all the past 4 decades, my husband Ben and I played a role, along with many others, in striving to bring world-class entertainment to this beautiful theater, serving our city and the region, a place where people of all ages and cultures have come to enrich their lives, learning through the transformative power of the performing arts and to make lasting memories. In 2017, the Z staff and board began to envision what a capital campaign could do for the theater, one that would improve the patron experience. Ben and I proudly invested in that vision, making it possible for the team to do the early planning and feasibility necessary for a capital campaign, an improvement project so that the Z could look to the future and serve the next generations of performing artists. After these past years of planning, fundraising, and advocating, I am beyond delighted to be here today, seeing our combined visions become a reality, and Ben would be very proud too. When we return to this building, it will be an even more vibrant center for the performing arts, one that we can all be proud of, a place for community, connection, and creative expression for all. My deepest thanks to you all, and I'm a washer short too, but I have the passion for the Z. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm crying. It doesn't get much better than that woman, ladies and gentlemen. So now, tough act to follow, but I'd love to bring up the chair of the Zeiterion board, my comrade in arms, so to speak, for the last year or so, Mr. Frank Almeida.
Tough act indeed. And Mayor Mitchell, don't worry about the picture from Mark. I've got one of him. There you go. What a day. What a day. Just to echo the sentiments shared by several of the speakers today, just wow. This is. I'm just so pleased that this has happened. Beginning at this juncture, after so many ups and downs, this is a dream come true. It truly is. Deb just mentioned the idea of the renovation that began at around 2017. The inklings were probably before that, but I actually joined the board in June of 2017. And at the first board meeting, we were talking about this project, this renovation project, that I thought was $8 million, but apparently it was 15. And I'm thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Well, now, as Joe just mentioned, it's $37 million. Wow, again. Just unbelievable. We wouldn't be here without the incredible commitment, persistence, hard work of so many people, and so many people have already been mentioned, and I'm not going to repeat those because I'll get some wrong. But I would like to especially recognize Rosemary. Nicole. Molly, Penny, Maria. Just the incredibly talented and amazing team at the Z. I'd also like to thank the entire board. It's been a long road. Dan says that we're over the hard part. Not so sure about that. Many of you are here today. So what I would like is any board member that is here, staff, volunteers, please stand. All the board, all the staff, the volunteers, please stand. We're off to a great start. Clearly, we're off to a great start, but we still need public health before the next act begins. As Joe said, we're at about 32, 90% of the funding has been acquired already. We have about $5 million to go. You'll be hearing more about that. Public will be hearing more about that, about helping us close that gap soon so we can secure a viable and strong future. John, hey John. That John and so many folks secured for us in the past. We're just so looking forward to our future. Mark, you want to get a picture? I got 2 minutes left. Just saying. Thank you, everyone. Thanks very much.
I thought he was offering me 2 minutes. All ready to go.
Yielding to okay. We're almost through, folks. And if you think I'm crying now, wait till the next part. I am so pleased to be bringing up this young woman, or to be introducing this young woman. Sarah is our box office manager. She's been with us for many, many years. 10. Yeah. And this young woman in our box office also happens to be New Bedford's Poet Laureate. And there is so much talent on the Z staff, you have no idea. But you're about to get a little piece of it. Sarah, come on up.
The power of a professional and fantastic production crew. Give them a round of applause today. Thank you. As Rosemary mentioned, I'm your box office manager here at the Z. I have been here for 10 years. I started as a marketing intern as a college student. And so I wrote my poem for the Decades Dance Party last summer, and it was great fun to read it then. But I wanted to say, there's a line in this poem where I mentioned the wisdom of a mother, and that line was to honor Ms. Delano, who helped us, of course, secure this building. Thank you, Mr. Villard. But the more I think about that line, and I think about my time here, this staff is mostly women and mostly mothers. And so that line is also dedicated to you. Thank you for the last 10 years for stewarding this building with the power and the grace and the just gumption that you all have. I don't know what else, a bunch of Spitfires on this team. So thank you so much. This is my poem, and the title is Beyond. A palace for the people, built by the hands of fathers who would gift this city and all its riches to their children and their children's children, and so on, for 100 years. A century of unprecedented moments, and she has withstood them all. Her little ghost light shining in the hollow of that empty room, a reminder that we are never alone. The spirit of our past joy lingers, even if we cannot be there to see it. Our chapel of human connection, the clamor of a crowd as the lights dim, a collective gasp as the curtain drops, glimmers from the shadowed wings, lovingly tended by generations of artists, building, creating, perfecting that magic, that inexplicable joy. Our sanctuary of art, gilded and sparkling, warm and rosy, a brief glimpse of maybe what this world could be if people danced more, sang more, shared their hearts and their stories. Her crystal still glitters, and her plush and rosy interior now frayed with use. The love of thousands clapping, cheering, and rejoicing as they search within her walls for another heart, much like their own, to share in their symphonies. And so we prepare for the next century. We fling open the doors, we tear down the walls, and we show you here. Here is a place for you. Here is a room to call your own. Show us your joy, your pain, your art, and we will make for you a palace, a shrine to what is good and beautiful when the world shares more, sings more, dances more. A palace built by the hands of a father, preserved by the wisdom of a mother, gifted to us, the children of the next century, a place to build the world we hope to see, each golden muse a form in which we see ourselves, turning towards one another as if to say, come, dance across this stage with me tonight. We are together in all our shining beauty in this palace by the sea. Let us dance, sing, and share this joy, our birthright and our legacy.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, wow. What a love letter to the Z. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, pinch me again. All right, we're coming to the conclusion, folks. Thank you to every one of you who has joined us today, who has joined us along this journey. We've loved it. It's been a blast most of the time. But a true honor, both on stage and off. Thank you. So in a few minutes, off to my left, the moment we've all been waiting for, the ceremonial groundbreaking moment, the beautiful wall, which we're about to smash, was painted by New Bedford artist Mandy Frazier, and I'm not sure if Mandy's here today. Is Mandy here? No, shoot. If you don't know Mandy, you should. She's wonderful. And so thank you, everyone, for coming. There's still some great snacks and coffee and iced tea, etc. Let's party a little bit.
Okay. Again, my name is Blair Taylor, Director of Education and Community here at the Z. And before we smash this wall, I'd just like to say, traditionally, shovels are used to mark such beautiful occasions. But we really wanted to embody just how committed we are to expanding beyond tradition. We are breaking through our four walls and getting out into the community. We are breaking through exclusionary practices. We are breaking through our fear of too much change too fast and building anew. So let's smash the wall of old as we usher a new day of the Zeiterion.